Good morning, guys. MWUSA Season 3, Episode 91. Last night, I updated my spreadsheet. I didn't realize until now that it had been about 10 days since I'd updated it, so there was a big difference in the numbers. And what I noticed was I am actually ahead of schedule for the year now. So, nice big 10 days or so got me completely caught up and ahead for the year. I updated my monthly also, and it looks like for the month of March, which was a very bad month, I ended up ahead about, I think it was 9,700. And for the month of April, which was just incredible considering, I was ahead over 33,000 for the month of April. So excellent month for April. May is starting off well and hopefully continues on. The week is going well. We're over 10,500 for the week, and we're going to hopefully add on to it today. It would have to be a total incredible disaster to wipe out what we've made for the week. So hopefully we don't get anywhere close to a disaster today, and we round out the week in a good way. And then Sunday is, okay, let me think here. I believe Saturday, what's today, the 3rd? Yeah, so Sunday is Derby Day, I believe. I don't know why I keep thinking it was Saturday, but on Derby Day, I will be betting the Kentucky Derby. I may do a short, like 10-minute episode that morning with the picks that I get from a friend of mine, and hopefully it works out. I'm not sure if I'll give you the picks for the whole day or just for the actual Kentucky Derby race. We'll see about that, and I'll try to do that. I'm not positive I'll be able to, but I'm going to try to. And then, of course, if you've ever bet horses, that there's going to be scratches and stuff. Scratches when a horse cannot race and they pull out of the race. So if you do bet it, make sure you understand if there's any scratches or not after you bet it, because you may be getting a refund. And if you have a voucher in your hand and you lose, that voucher may still be worth money because of any kind of refunds that you might get. So don't bet it if you don't understand horse racing, but I thought it would be a cool exercise to go through that. My friend is very generous with information, and I would love for, if it works out, I'd love for other people to make money. But other than that, this year you may want to just sit out and look at the picks and, just watch how they would have done if you bet them. Also at the casino where I bet the Kentucky Derby, they're going to have a best hat contest, and I don't know if it's going to be just one winner or one male, one female. I have no idea. But when we took our cruise to Mexico last year, I bought kind of a colorful hat I thought would be good for the Derby, and it's a little bit ridiculous. It's got a big sunflower on it and a bunch of stuff all over it, but I thought maybe it would be fun to wear that and enter that contest. So that contest is going to be earlier in the afternoon, way before the race, like three hours before the race or something like that. So I can still get my vouchers and get home in time to watch it with the family. So starting about 14 years ago or so, I started with one of my children who was still very young, and I took them to the track to watch the Kentucky Derby. And almost every year after that, we did that. It's probably been 2 or 3 years that we didn't. And it's been a lot of fun. I don't know if any kids are going to want to go watch it there, but usually what we do is we'll go bet it and then watch it at home. And then I go back later on and cash any vouchers to our winners. So that's going to be Sunday, I believe, is when the Derby is. Cinco de Mayo. For some reason, I think it's Saturday. Let me check. All right, it is Saturday. So Saturday, the Kentucky Derby, I'll be posting, and everything I said will be Saturday. And then Sunday, Cinco de Mayo, I'll be spending that with my family. I did order a lawnmower last night, a zero-turn mower, and actually I tried so hard to be able to get it from a place like Lowe's or Home Depot where I could use a like a gift card from that Pepper and get that 10% off, but the prices just were not as good as a local store that I had. What it came down to is a 54-inch wide deck, 54 inches of cutting basically, was $32.99 at a local place, and then a 50-inch at Home Depot was $32.99. So then with the discount would have been like $3,000. So do I want a 50 for $3,200? Do I want, I'm sorry, a 54-inch for $3,200, or do I want a 50-inch for $29.99? And I decided a 54-inch is better. Currently I have a 50. I think a 54 would be nice. These mowers are really nice, so I did that, but I was smart enough to at least check with my credit cards, and my Capital One card that I recently got, which I've already reached the spending amount on, will give me 2% off of this store. So although I'm not getting the full amount that I would, they're giving me an extra 2% on top of my 1.5%. So I'll get 3.5% off, which is $100. And then there was something else. No, that's it. So I'll get $100 off. I'm okay with that. I put it on the card. I'll get the points and all that. So that is ready to be picked up now. I have someone helping me pick it up. It won't be today. It'll probably be tomorrow morning, and that'll be done. I want to try to use the old mower until it's completely dead. I do have someone who's willing to look at it and try to fix it, which would be fine. If they do fix it, I would probably sell it or use it for the dirtier work and not mess up the new mower. So anyway, the other news today is the weather. So there's going to be a little bit of a thunderstorm later on, but the big story is the temperature is going to be so flat today. Right now it's 65 degrees, and the high for the day is going to be like 71 or 72 degrees. So kind of a weird day. Yesterday it was like high 30s, low 40s, I think, maybe low 40s in the morning, and it got to like 88 degrees by afternoon. Today it's only going up a little bit. So yeah, that's what's going on right now. We've got cloudy skies, 6:20 a.m. right now. I'm heading off to my first casino. Between the second and third casino, most likely I will have a team meeting at work, and that should be the only meeting I have. And then I just sit back and let my mouse jiggler move my mouse and make it look like I'm active all day, and everybody's happy. So if you have any, think. Oh, there was another thing that happened. That poker site I told you about yesterday, that I'm having a little bit of a dispute with. When I emailed them back and said, no, you actually owe me money, they didn't reply. But then later on in the day, they replied with, just to let you know, somebody that you played with was involved with cheating, so you have a refund. So I went into the app and I looked, and they had refunded a generous 6 pennies, 6-cent refund. So I haven't actually checked this morning to see if there's any further news. I'm assuming that they're going to try to push back and say I owe them money, but how could you be so ridiculous to give me a refund and then say I owe you money? So let me see real quick if I have anything from them. I do not, so maybe they're going to shut up and let it go. So all right, letting you go for now, and I'll be back. All right, guys, I am back. So I go into that place, and it's pretty much dead in there, and I see almost no plays. I start looking for anything, can't find anything, start chasing okay plays, and end up wasting just a ton of time. And by the time I was done, and I left, I was ahead $30, which is just completely unacceptable the way it went down. I should have left early. I shouldn't have kept chasing. And not that I was chasing bad stuff. I was chasing stuff that was positive, but it was a waste of time for the amount of money I would have made. And I ended up wasting an hour and a half in there. And that's a big portion of my time that I would normally be gambling. So, I mean, like, normally be at the blackjack table gambling. And my goal is to get as much blackjack time as possible. So, I don't know if any of this makes sense, but just felt like I should have just left earlier and gotten more time in elsewhere where I could have found better plays. So, that's all I have to say about that. Lesson learned, I hope. So, moving on right now to the next casino, and hopefully I'll have a little better judgment there. I'll be back. Alright guys, as I am walking to the car, I have a minute until my meeting starts. It was very rushed in there. There wasn't a lot of stuff anyway. A couple of Chinese characters in there, a lady and a guy, and I found very few plays, but I did find a couple plays and ended up playing those through, and I was ahead $82 when I left. So plus $82 there. Right now I'm taking off my mouse jiggler, putting in my headphones, and starting my meeting. We're moving on to another place, and this time we're going to be playing some blackjack and hoping for some good stuff to start happening today. So I'm going to let you go for now. I'm going to hop on this meeting, and then I'll be back for more. Okay guys, I'm back. I'm a little bit more calm now. Just relaxing, leaving this next casino. So when I just got back to the car a minute ago and talked to you, I just wrapped up a session in this place, and because of my delaying things at the first place, I only got about 20 minutes at the second place before I had a meeting. The meeting was about 45 minutes long, so I don't want to be in there looking for plays when I have a 45 to an hour drive coming up. So I ended up just running through and looking at the most important machines and stuff, and that's what I reported to you. I think I was up whatever, $82 or whatever it was. But the Chinese problem in that casino is still a big problem, and no matter what, they just keep rotating them when they get kicked out, and they bring in new people and they rotate those. So unfortunately, it's something that we're going to have to deal with for a while. Something will happen eventually. I don't know what, but I'm sure either someone's going to threaten them and say, if any of your people come in here or something, I don't know, but I see it coming because I see the hostility of the white people in there talking about these guys, and it's pretty brutal. So anyway, moving on, I did my meeting, finished up the meeting as I was pulling into the next casino. I walk into the casino, I go into the high limit area, there's one table open, it's a $50 six deck. I walk up to the table, dealer's just sitting there, it's about a quarter of the way through the shoe, and it's no mid-shoe entry, and there are two spaces that are being held for someone to come back on the table. So I'm like, excuse me, what's going on here? Can I sit down? And she's like, well, that guy has been going to the ATM for a really long time, and this guy over here on third base, he's playing the double deck table, which is an awful table, until this seat opens up. So I said, okay, well, then I guess I'll come back. And she calls the pit boss over and asks him, and he said, yeah, it's been long enough. So they call the other guy over from the double deck, and he was a horrendous player. Never hit 16 no matter what. Sometimes didn't hit 15s. Didn't split threes against small cards. Didn't double certain things. You know, just a bad player overall. And he went through some huge swings. So it's a $50,000 to $5,000 table. And so he starts off betting 100 with green chips. and then he immediately starts raising 200, 300. He gets buried for 2,000 or 3,000 right away, and just, you know, he got lucky really on one shoe. Started negative, and it was about a running minus 14, and he got about 3 or 4 blackjacks within 5 or 6 hands, and he was just making a fortune raking it in. Got it up to about $4,000, and by the time I left the table, he was back down to about 1,500. So he was just, you know, what do they say? Live by the sword, die by the sword. So if you're living like that, that's what's going to happen. You're going to have big swings one way or another. So as for me, I sit down, I buy in for 500, lose that at the beginning of the first shoe, betting minimum. Buy in for another 500. Dealer goes on break, another dealer comes. I rebuy, and then I rebuy again. So now I'm in for like 1,500, and things stabilize. I get back to about 1,300. I'm feeling good. Go back down to way down, I don't know, to 400, 300, something like that. And then the dealer comes back. She gets me all the way back, and I'm ahead like 375. No, more than that. Yeah, about 375 at the end of a shoe. So I got to keep going because, you know, I'm trying to win some money right now. I'm not trying to get out this early. It's still too early. And I'd already convinced well, I don't know if I convinced him or not, but, you know, he left for a few minutes, and I said when the dealer was on break, the pit boss left for a few minutes. When the dealer came back and the pit boss came back, I had said that I'd rebought for another 500. I don't know if he bought it or not. If he did, he thought I was in for a total of 2,000. If he didn't, he knew I was in for a total of 1,500. Usually these guys believe me, but this guy's not usually here. So we're not friendly enough that he would trust me yet. So then this guy comes to the table. He's got two $25 chips and a $500 chip. New shoe starts. Now there's 3 of us. He colors down the $500 chip and gets green. Plays $50 on the first hand. Whatever, gets whatever. He wins the hand. 19 against 18 or something like that, I think. I think he had ace-9 against 18. And he goes, well, I know when to quit. And he colors up, gets his $500 chip back, plus 2 green, and he walks away. So that's all fine, you know, I don't mind. I just, the less people at the table, the better. And then we go on this losing streak, like 12 or 13 hands. So I go from being up 375. Meanwhile, the count's going up. I'm raising my bet. And by the time things finally start to level off, I'm back down about $800 or $900. Meanwhile, the guy next to me sitting at third base is just pissed. And he's like, there's people like that who ruin things for everyone, just enough to piss on the cards and leave, and all this stuff over and over, and would not stop. And like I said, the shoe, the count was going up the whole shoe. So I'm raising my bets. And I'm not winning any hands. I'm winning 0 hands, but I'm raising my bet and losing and raising my bet and losing and raising my bet. So by the time we get to the end of the shoe, I'm at like 450 a hand. And I look down and the shoe ends, and I'd gone from my low at the shoe, low for the shoe, I had about 300 in front of me, and I ended up coloring up at the end of that shoe for $2,575. So I ended up ahead $1,075 through that shoe. But it didn't look good, but it did. You know, normally you don't raise when you're losing, but I was doing the act where I was pissed off, just like the other guy. It was easy because he's mad. It's easy for me to go along with him. And I'm like, you know, and then the pit boss comes over and he's like, wow, you recovered quickly. I'm like, yeah, I just kept raising. Every time I lost, I raised. Instead of every time I won, I raised. And I raised and I raised and I raised, and I finally won 3 big hands in a row, and I'm out of here. And that's what I said. That's not what happened, but so I ended up leaving plus 1075. My low for the session was minus 1250. My high for the session was that plus 1075, and I was at that table for an hour and 5 minutes. So an hour and 5 minutes, not bad. and I looked at slots and found nothing. I did not see anyone checking machines. I know a lot of the slot hustlers have abandoned this casino, but I still found nothing, so obviously someone is still around. All right now we are going to move on and see if we can duplicate the success, moving on to a slots casino, a small-time place, and we'll see how things go. And depending on timing, we may go play blackjack after this. Right now, timing is right in the middle. It could go either way. It is a Friday afternoon, and yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm waiting also to hear back from someone if they can help me tonight or tomorrow to pick up the new mower that I ordered. It's ready to be picked up. We just have to show up. It's $149 for delivery. I didn't want to pay the delivery cost. I feel bad depending on other people for this, but they're like, no, we insist, we want to do it. I'm like, are you sure? It's like $149. I don't mind. And they want to do it. So we'll see what happens. Letting you go for now. Moving on to the next spot, and I'll be back to update you. Oh, one other thing. When I was coloring up, when I was cashing out, and I was at the actual cashier window, the lady who backed off a friend of mine who's in security came up to me, like walked right up to me, and I'm like, oh boy, this can't be good. I just, went through this shoe where I raised all the way through this whole shoe, and now this security lady's coming up to me. But she actually wanted to talk to the cashier, so luckily no issues there. And she just wanted to talk to the cashier. That's it. All right, I'm going in the next place. I will be back to update you. All right, guys. I am back, and I am outside this casino getting ready to walk in, and it looks like a skunk, like a skunk smell, like something, he just sprayed somebody, so it is just awful. Hopefully it doesn't get on me. I'd hate for that to happen, but I'll be back. All right, guys, I am back. I was in that place for about 25 minutes or so. There aren't that many opportunities usually, but when you find something, it's pretty good. So I walk in, I see one play on a machine, real low denomination, and I started second guessing myself. I'm like, I know this is a play here, but the first 19 spins, I count everything, right? So first 19 spins, I hit for nothing at all. Not like 5 cents, not 3 cents. And then it hit right away right after that. So I actually came down early. It paid less. But it did take some money first. I was ahead about $30 on that one, which is not bad. And then I moved on, looked at some other things. I found one play that used to be a play, but is really borderline now. But it was only for a couple spins, so I ran that through and made like $1 on that one. And then moved on and found a bigger play. It was about $2.50 per spin, and played that. And I was involved in that machine about $500 before it turned around and it finally hit. And it was pretty crazy, actually. Big swings up and down, and then finally hit what I was looking for, and ended up leaving ahead $215. So plus $215, and right now it's after lunchtime, and I'm really still not sure. Man, I just don't like this casino. I know it's probably the right thing to do, go play there, but I really hate that casino. Let me see where we're at here. 30 minutes, be 1, 2, 4, 5 o'clock. Let me think for a second here. All right, let me think about this. I'll be back. All right, so here's an unconventional move for you. I know this place is positive EV, and I know it doesn't add a lot of time to my trip, but I'm not going there. And I'll tell you the reason why, and I think my reasoning makes perfect sense, and just my reason why is positive EV. And the reason is because I am always in a bad mood when I'm at this place. I don't like the way they structure things. I don't like the way they treat people. Their payouts are poor. Their blackjack is just structured in a terrible way. It's slow, and the dealers are slow. And I just see myself going there and being frustrated and not playing my best, actually, I would say. So I would say that place is worse to me than a place I've never been to and I have no clue what to expect. So that's pretty bad. So I am going to pass that place up, and I'm going to move on to my regularly scheduled place, and that one's still about an hour from here. So I'm going to sit back and relax, probably grab some food on the way there, and then I'll be back to update you, give you some good news, hopefully. All right, guys, I am back. So here's what happened here. So I walk in, innocently enough, nothing going on. I find one play that's like an unheard of play. It's not a lot of money, but it's just something that you never find. But I'm one of the few people that checks these machines now because it doesn't pay very well, and it's never in position. So I found it in position, like incredibly in position. It's like 60 cents or something like that, a spin. I play it through, I win, within a spin or a couple spins, and I end up ahead like $7 or $8. That's not big news, no big deal there. So I'm walking around, I find another play. Now, all these Asians are in here, so why am I finding another play? So I find this play, it's decent, I play it, up and down, I end up ahead another, whatever, $30, whatever. Start walking around, start this machine, that machine, nickel and diming, back and forth, up 10, down 20, up 30, down 30. And then I see a machine that I normally don't check, but someone had just gotten off it, and I could see everything on there. Because a lot of machines, once no one is playing it for a while, it's got like a demo screen to try to entice you to play the machine, right? So you don't really see what's behind it most of the time, except for in between the demos. So I see it, I sit down, I decide to play it, I play it through, I end up, it's like $2 a spin, I end up losing like $100 and something. Now I'm getting cranky, right? So I'm like, okay, well, I got some free food here. Let me just go get my free food and get out of here. So I go to get my free food. I check the app. I see I have $6 in food. I'm like, who gives someone $6 in food? So I go over there. I find like breadsticks and marinara sauce, right? So I get that. It's literally bread with tomato sauce. I'm not kidding. There's no seasoning. It's like just bread that's sliced with tomato sauce to dip it in, and it's half a cup with like 8 pieces of bread, so it's definitely not going to be enough, right? So whatever. I'm carrying this bag around. I decide to take one more lap around, and then I finally sit down at this one machine. It's a high denomination, high risk machine, and it's only going to be 1 or 2 spins. I give it a shot, and it's actually a $50 a spin, and I play that, and I end up hitting for like $600 and $700, something like that. So I end up leaving ahead $453 after all that up and down, nickel and diming, penny here, penny there. And that's the thing, I've talked about this before. It's like you've got these good plays, and 1 minute you might be betting 50 cents a spin, the next minute you might be betting $25 a spin, but they're both positive EV. So then you consider to yourself, okay, I want all positive EV, right? Or do I? Because although something might be positive EV, it might not be worth it, right? So, for example, if it's $25 a spin, you've been there for 2 hours, it's going to cost you $1,000 to hit it, and you could lose a bunch of money on it, right? Do you really want to do it? Yes, technically you do, right? But you're up $100, you're like, I don't want to take the risk right now. If you have something that's it's going to hit it's going to pay you $1 million for $1 spin, and it's positive EV because it's actually paying, it's a million to 1, it's paying 10 million. Well, yeah, you would play it forever, right? But you'd also probably go bankrupt before you hit it. So you got to pick and choose your battles. I decided to go ahead and play it, and I ended up ahead $453. I took my breadsticks, went to the car. They're not very good, not seasoned very well at all. So right now I am moving on. Now, a little background also. On my way to this casino I just left, there was an accident right up on the exit ramp, so I had to go way past it, take country roads back to it. So it took me a lot of extra time to get back to it. So I'm glad I didn't make that other stop, because even with this alone, without that other stop, I'm actually behind schedule. So anyway, moving on to the next casino. At the next casino, I have like $20 in food, so hopefully I can get something decent there and then figure out what to do from there. So right now, I'm going to let you go. The weather has changed drastically from a nice sunny day to a rainy day right now, like a gloomy, misty, rain type of day. And, just not a very nice day, but what are you going to do? It's part of the job. So right now I'm moving on, and I'll be back to update you after my next stop. All right, guys, I'm back. So let me see. Where do I begin here? Trying to think back here. I walk in, look at a couple machines. I see nothing. And then I'm heading toward the next machine, and I see a crowd of people cheering. And I'm thinking, what's going on over here? There must be like a little slot contest or something going on, right? I mean, why would a bunch of people be cheering? I mean, cheering loud. They're so excited. And I walk around them because the machine I want to check is on the other side of the mob. So I walk around and I get to my machine. I check it, and there's something there. And the one next to it, there's something there. And I sit down. I start playing the first one, and then move over to the second one. And I say to the lady sitting next to me, I said, "What's going on?" She said, "That lady thought that she was playing $4 a spin, but she was playing $40 a spin." And she says, she's up to $6,000 already. I said, "Wow, that's pretty crazy." So then I played another machine. I won about 100 on that one. Another machine next to, actually the same machine, I ended up winning another 100 on it. So I won 200 total. So I'm up like 230 right now. And then I find a couple, I'm getting ready to go look for some other plays. And I said to myself, I'm just going to go take a look at this. And so I ended up going there and taking a picture of it. And this was about 45 minutes ago. They still haven't paid her yet because of the size of it, which is ridiculous. But what happened was she put a $100 bill in the machine, and she thought she was playing $4 per spin, but she was playing $40 a spin. She spins it once. She wins $10 back. She thinks she won $1 back. Next spin, she hits a bonus on there, and she hits the major, the minor, which is just the minor was $1,000. The minor again, and she ended up winning a total of 16,000. That right? No, 13 or 16. Jeez, how do I forget these things? She ended up winning a total of $13,090 on this machine. And everyone was cheering for her because it was a little old lady that had no clue. Just what drives us crazy, right? Little old lady, no clue what she's doing. She puts a $5 bill in the machine, and you're waiting to sit on a machine. She sits in front of you and hits the jackpot that you've been waiting for days for, right? Anyway, so everyone was hooting, hollering, high-fiving each other, all excited for her and stuff. And so then I walked around, looked at some other stuff, came back around, and I knew that I had a food comp, and I've never had a food comp here before, and it was a $20 food comp. And I said, okay, I want something that I can just take home with me because I don't feel like eating anything right now. And they had candy bars and like sodas and stuff like that. So I thought I'd get some candy bars, and candy bars were so cheap, $2.25. And actually, if you use your comps, it's actually half that much. So you use half the points. So I've got like $600 in food available if I want it. So anyway, so I said, okay, let me have the candy bars and these other candy bars. And she said, oh, your comp is not available till 4 o'clock. What are you talking about, 4 o'clock? She swipes my card. It's not available. She said, see all these people sitting here? And I said, yeah. She said, they're all waiting till 4 o'clock because theirs starts at 4 o'clock too. I'm like, this is insane. Why wouldn't it be available the whole day? So I open up the app and I look at it, and it says available today only, 4 p.m. to 11:59 p.m. So that's what everybody was waiting for. They also had some t-shirts and things like that, but I didn't see anything I liked, or I would have gotten the t-shirts, but there was nothing that I liked there. So I ended up coming back at 4. By then I was done playing. I ended my session on the slots ahead $240 exactly, like $240.05. So $240. I ended up, so I go and I say, give me 3 of these and 3 of these and 3 of these candy bars. And she's like, oh no. I said, what do you mean no? She said, there's a limit of 5 candy bars. I said, come on. I said, okay, there's potato chips there. What's the limit there? She said, 5. I said, give me 5 of those then. I said, how much is it? She said, $21. I said, okay, go ahead. And usually you get a discount for your tier level, and I'm the higher tier level, but there was no discount for that. So she took off the 20. She goes, how do you want to pay for the $1? I said, take it out of my points. So I had them take the last $1 out of my points, and I walked out with 240 of their dollars and 5 candy bars and 5 bags of chips. So that's how we ended that session. Like I said, I was in there for a long time, and I was leaving, and the lady still had not gotten paid her money. I can tell you there was about 4 or 5 slot techs looking at it. So whatever, I guess it's a lot of money to this place. Anyway, right now I am almost out of gas, so once I get on the main highway, get myself situated, I will find a place to stop and get some gas, and still have that 40 whatever cents off today. So we're going to use that and probably head home from there. I think today we made just about almost exactly $2,000. Maybe just a little over that, and add it to what we did the rest of the week. We're ahead about $12,500 for the week. So incredible week. We had that thunderstorm I said was going to be rolling through. We had that a little while ago. Dropped the temperature down from about 72 down to the low 60s, and now it's back up to where it was again. So it's 73 right now. Rush hour traffic is starting. I'm getting back on the main highway right now, and gonna head toward home. And yeah, that should be it right now. I'm telling you now up front, look for a short episode, probably tonight or tomorrow, for the Kentucky Derby with the picks that I'm going to go by. And you're welcome to use them, because nobody cares, because the prize pool is so big. You're not going to affect my money by betting 100 or 200 or 500 or 1,000 on a horse. I mean, even the longest shot horse is going to have hundreds of thousands of dollars on it. So I'm not too worried about that. So for now, I'm going to relax. I'm going to let you go. If you have any questions or comments, my email is mwusa21@gmail.com. mwusa21@gmail.com. See you next time.